Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time, and I have some news for you today. There are three things that we learned today as a country. Number one, almost 30 million of our fellow Americans are on unemployment aid, and 14.7 million, half of those 30 million individuals, are on the PUA program, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which is going to end on the 31st of December at the time I'm recording this video, pending any further legislation, which basically means that half of those on unemployment aid will lose that unemployment aid completely at the end of the year. Come the start of next year, half of those individuals are not going to have unemployment aid pending further legislation. The second thing we learned, over 22 million individuals in our country, our fellow Americans, report that often or sometimes they don't have enough food to eat. Think about that. 22 million individuals often or sometimes do not have enough food to eat. And number three, it's very likely that Congress is not going to pass any more relief. I talked about the skinny bill being a largely symbolic measure, and guess what? News has just come in that that skinny bill did not progress in the Senate. Republicans and Democrats, at the time I'm recording this, have failed to reach a deal. This is brand new reporting that just came in. Senate Republicans fail to advance the stimulus bill as the stalemate drags on. Remember, this was their skinny bill, this was their targeted bill. They failed to advance that because the stalemate is still continuing to drag on. So where things stand right now are the Senate failed today to advance the bill, and this was a blow to their attempts to essentially pass another stimulus package to mitigate the pandemic. The measure fell short of the 60 votes that were required as a procedural step to move towards passage. All the Democrats present and one Republican senator, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky, opposed it, and the final motion was 52 to 47. So the legislation, if it would have passed and if it would have become law, would have reinstated enhanced federal unemployment benefits at $300 per week, which is half of the $600 per week that expired at the end of July. It would have authorized new small business loans and put money towards schools and into pandemic testing, treatment and vaccine. Now keep in mind, this did not include the $1,200 stimulus check. It also did not include any money for cash-strapped state and local governments or any money for rental and mortgage assistance. All of these are important priorities for the Democrats, and the Democrats weren't willing to entertain anything that didn't include those priorities. So this is what Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said. He said it is beyond insufficient. It is completely inadequate. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell did bring the measure to the Senate floor this week because there were efforts on the part of the Trump administration to try and pass something, to try and pass some measure of relief. And his goal was to essentially demonstrate that the Republicans, especially Republican senators who are up for re-election. Now keep in mind, there are 35 Senate seats up for re-election in the November election. So I want my viewers and subscribers to understand that. There are 35 Senate seats up for re-election in the November election. 23 of those seats are Republican seats, 12 of those seats are Democrats. So his goal was to show particularly vulnerable GOP senators who are running for re-election this year that that they wanted to do something. And this is what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said of the Democratic senators who opposed the bill. I quote, he said, "They can tell American families they care more about politics than helping them." These are words from the Senate Majority Leader. And so far, Congress has failed to pass any additional stimulus package, even as the outbreak is spreading across the country. And the president has taken unilateral steps by way of executive action, specifically the Lost Wages Assistance Program. But it looks like every day that goes by, the likelihood of additional stimulus is actually dimming. In fact, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, who was specifically asked about the likelihood of further stimulus, he said, and I quote, I'm going to quote Steven Mnuchin, he said, "I don't know." And this is what he said: "We'll see. I hope there is. It's important to a lot of people out there." And so this is where things stand right now. Unfortunately, the skinny bill from the Senate isn't going forward, isn't going anywhere. And there also have been reports that if they pass a CR, if Congress passes a CR, a continuing resolution to fund the government, after that they'll all go their separate ways and nothing will happen until the election. And they are on the verge, they're getting closer to passing a CR, a continuing resolution to fund the government. At the time I'm recording this video, it looks like the House and the Senate will pass a continuing resolution to fund the government. The Democrats and the Republicans are very, very far apart. In fact, the Republicans haven't been able to pass a bill. They needed a 60 vote threshold and they did not get those votes because all the Democrats opposed the skinny bill, and one Republican, Senator Rand Paul, did oppose the skinny bill. As a result, essentially, it didn't go anywhere. So the news is that the Senate Republicans have failed to advance the stimulus bill, and the stalemate continues to drag on. I hope I have better news to report to you in the coming days and weeks. I would like to report sunshine and roses, but I'm going to report the truth to you. I appreciate you watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I'm trying to give you honest, authentic news, and I really appreciate you watching. If you don't know anything about me, check out my introductory video. I have the fortune, the privilege, the honor of living the American dream, and so please follow the channel. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications so you can get instant updates from us going forward. Our team works very hard behind the scenes to bring you these videos. Follow us on Instagram. My Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So definitely follow us on Instagram. Send us a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you can get added to our SMS list. Speaking of lists, if you send us, if you go to ignitiontime.com/alerts, that's ignitiontime.com/alerts, you can get on our email list, and then you can opt out of our email and SMS list at any point in time that you want. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. Sometimes YouTube does not send out notifications, so make sure you go to youtube.com/ignitiontime. That's youtube.com/ignitiontime, and then you bookmark our channel. This way you can visit our channel and get important updates as they come out. I really appreciate all of you watching. Again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. At this stage, at the time I'm recording this video, unfortunately, the talks have stalled. Unless one of the sides has a big change in their position. Let's say the Democrats say, all right, we'll be okay with less money, or the Republicans say, okay, we'll provide more money. Unfortunately, at this point, nothing's happening. Now, it has been this way for a week or two, but then we've seen signs of maybe some progress, because we do know that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi came down. We do know that the president went from 1 trillion and was willing to sign something up to 1.3 trillion. But unfortunately, the two sides are still apart by about $900 billion. And the Republicans tried to pass a skinny bill, but they couldn't even get to the 60 votes that they needed to advance in the Senate. That's where things stand, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Please click like below. Please subscribe. I want to know what my community thinks. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this entire stalemate. Do you think that the Republicans did the right thing by trying to pass some measure so that they could advance it in the Senate, or do you think it was essentially a political maneuver? Do you think the Democrats are doing the right thing by holding out for a large package, for a comprehensive package, or do you feel the Democrats need to compromise and come closer to the Republicans? I want to know what you think. And one thing I want to tell my community is, when I analyze these situations, I look at it as the Senate and the House. I don't think of it as Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. Let's take those two out of the equation, because let's just imagine that those names or those faces were interchangeable. This is about the position of a Republican Senate versus a position of a Democrat-led House. So again, take my advice would be, try and take the person out of the personality out of it, and try and look at the positions and ask yourself, which position do you support? Do you support a position of a skinny bill with $300 a week enhanced unemployment benefits, without stimulus checks, without aid to state and local, or do you prefer a more comprehensive bill? And how do you feel about all this within the context of our national debt? I think that is a more that I believe is a more comprehensive analysis, and I think that is the right way to look at it. Also, when I report about President Trump, for me, the presidency, it's about the presidency more so than any one president. I ask myself, would I want to report it, and would that be my evaluation, regardless of who was in the Oval Office? So as we start to get closer to the election, and as we start to, I guess, reach a point of extreme frustration with everything that's happening, my advice to you would be, try and look at the positions and take your personal feelings out of your individual feelings about individual people, and then try and come to a more informed decision based on the issues. And I think that would be my recommendation. That's how I look at it. That's how I do my reporting. I would have reported this even if the names McConnell and Speaker Pelosi were interchangeable. In fact, let's say we didn't have a President Trump, and we had a President John Smith. I would still be reporting it objectively the same way, because I think that we need to be as objective as we can and try not to let our emotions get in the way of our decision making. At least that's the way how I approach it in this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.